Celebrate YouTube channel. Today's class we're going to learn how to make this multi-layer sleeve. It's a very simple puff sleeve and it's beginner friendly. If this is something you like to learn, kindly stay tuned to the end of this tutorial. Thank you. So for this sleeve, I'm going to be working with this Ankara fabric. You can either use your elastic, your regular elastic for gathering, or you use this smoking thread to smoke it. So it's a thread that is just like elastic as well. It's very stretchy. So now for my measurements, I'm just going to use this paper to indicate this to us. So all you just need to do is to take your full length measurement. Okay, so you just take a measurement from your shoulder or to your full length or wherever it is you want this to be, and for me that's around 22 inches. So assuming this is 22 inches, which is my actual sleeve length, okay, from here to here is 22 inches. So I'm going to be having a gathering on 1, 2 and 3. Okay, so I'll have a gather here, I'll pass my elastic here, pass here and pass here as well. So that means for me to be able to have this puffy ball effect that I have at each point I have my elastic, I'm not going to be using my exact measurement. So to each of these measurements, I'm going to be adding between 3 to 5 inches depending on how much fabric you have. So if I'm adding +3 for this, I'm adding another +3 for the next one, I'm adding another +3 for this. Okay, for the last one you can leave it as it is, or you can just add 1 to 2 inches. So now to my 22 inches, if I have 3, that's 25. If I add another 3, that's 28. If I add another 3 to that, that's 31. And then if I had these two, I'll have about 33 inches. So instead of cutting out a length of 22 inches, I'm going to cut out a length of 33 inches, so that by the time I had these gathers, I'm going to have extra fabric to form the puffiness that I want. So here I have my fabric already cut out, and the length that I have here is about 35 inches. Okay, that's the length that I have for my fabric. And then for the width, I'm going to be folding it using my round armhole measurement. My round armhole measurement is 14 inches. So instead of folding 14 inches, I'm just going to, instead of cutting 14 inches on opened fabric, I'm putting it on fold by 14 inches, which means by the time I open it out, I'm going to have 28 inches. Okay, so it's going to be bigger than my actual round armhole measurement. My round armhole measurement is 14 inches for both front and back. So now in this case, instead of using 14 inches, I'm multiplying that by 2, which is 28 inches, which I have here. Okay, opened is 28 inches. You can see how big this is. If you don't want it this big, you can reduce it. So now this is an off shoulder sleeve. So the first thing I'm going to do now is to create my armhole. So if you have a dress that you have already made that you want to add this sleeve to, all you just need to do is to bring in your ready-made dress. I'm sure by then you must have cut out your armhole from your dress. So what you just need to do is to bring your armhole area to the edge like this, and then you use that to shape out your armhole. So if you don't have that, I'm just going to measure around, so here I'm going to measure around 10 inches, and then from the 10 inches mark, I'm going to create an armhole. So here with my chalk, I'm going to mark out 10 inches. Okay, so I'm going to mark out 10 inches here. Then after marking my 10 inches here, from here I'm going to go down by 4 inches for my cap's height. So from there I'm going to create my armhole curve. But like I said, if you already have your bodice and your armhole is already there, so you just use that as a guide to make your armhole curve. So now my armhole curve is made. So you can see how big this is looking. Is more than my actual shoulder off shoulder measurement. So what I'm going to do now is to take this to the sewing machine, and then I'm going to first create a channel on this upper part. I'll create a channel for my elastic so that I can use my elastic to control this back to my actual measurement. Then after creating a channel there, I'm going to come to the hem as well, and then I'm going to hem it before I decide to add my elastics. I have gone ahead to make the channel here for my elastic, and then on the lower side I also hemmed it. So now the next thing is to allocate the spaces that I'm going to be passing the elastic through. So the first thing I'm going to do on the hem, I'm going to measure the last part. So for the hem, I just want it to be around 5 inches. So what I'm going to do from my hem, so on the hem, I'm going to measure 5 inches upwards. Okay, and that's going to be the part that is just going to be on my wrist area. So I'm measuring 5 inches, and then using my ruler, I'm going to make the 5 inches into a straight line. So after making it into a straight line, I hope you can see my straight line. I'm going to measure what I have left. So from the upper part here up to that straight mark, I have around 27 inches. So for the elastic, I want to pass 3 elastics, 1 2 3. So what I'm going to do now is just to divide this 27 inches by 3, and after dividing it, I have about 9 inches. So now I'm going to mark the 9 inches all around. So I have the first 9 inches there, the next is 18, and then the next one is going to be 27. So I'll mark this now to make a straight line as well. So the fabric is multicolored. I'm just going to use this paper to explain further to us. So now after hemming it on this upper part and the lower part, I first measured 5 inches from the hem. I measured 5 inches upwards, and then I marked this. So after measuring my 5 inches, now I measured what I have from here up to the 5 inches mark. Then what I had, I divided that by 3. So I had 27 inches, I divided it by 3, which was 9 inches. So from here to here, I marked 9 inches. From here, I marked another 9 inches, and then from here to here is going to be 9 inches. So the next thing now is to use my elastic to gather this part, and this part as well. So for this part, you can actually create like a casing and then pass your elastic through it, or you can just sew your elastic directly on the lines that you created, which is what I'm going to do. So I'll take this to the sewing machine now. I'll place my elastic on this now. You can see the lines, I don't know if it's obvious. Okay, so the lines that I made, I'm going to place my elastic on it like this, and then I will drag it. So by the time I drag it and then sew, you can see the way it's going to gather all of the fabrics for me. So this is what I'm going to do on this line, and the third line as well. I'm on the machine now, so you can see how I'm holding it. So now to sew, I'm going to stretch. You can see the way the elastic is. I'm going to stretch the elastic now and then sew on the elastic. Okay, so once I sew on it, you can see how it's gathering my fabric. So you take your time, stretch it again, and then sew. So that is how you are going to sew everything, and you can see how much this has gathered my elastic. So after sewing it, I'm just going to bring in my scissors and then cut the elastic. So after cutting it now, I'm going to repeat the same thing on these 2 lines as well. So you just bring it to your machine now and then place it under your elastic. So while gathering, if your elastic is not gathering it as much as you want and you want it closer, so after dragging your elastic, you can just gather your fabric manually a bit before placing the elastic. Drag the elastic on it and then you sew. So this is going to drag it even more for you. I'm okay with the width that my elastic gave to me, so that's why I'm doing it this way. But if you are working with a slimmer person and the elastic is not gathering it to fit the person's arm, you can just gather this manually a bit, then you drag your elastic on it before you sew. So this is going to drag it even more for you. So I have gathered everything. As you can see, this is what I have. This is the first one, the second one, and the third one. So now for the upper part that I created the channel, I've also added my elastic to size it to the normal size that I want. So now I'm going to place this together on the underarm area, and then I'm going to close it up on the underarm. So the underarm is closed now, as you can see. In fact, without turning it, you can see how puffy this is looking already. So now I'm going to turn it to the right side, and then we will see what this looks like. Okay, so now this is the upper part, this is the armhole area, this is the part I'm going to be sewing to my armhole, and this is the first one. So you can see how puffy this is going to be. This is the second one, and this is the 5 inches, which is the last one. So the last one does not have an elastic, it's just going to be like that. So you can see the puffiness that we have for each of our layers. So now I'll take this to the mannequin so that we can see what it looks like. Okay, so this is what it looks like on the mannequin. So these are the layers that we have, and this is the fullness that we have. So you can reduce your fullness as much as you want. It's totally up to you and what you want to achieve. I hope you enjoyed making this beautiful tutorial with me. If you enjoyed it, let us in the comment section. Like, comment and subscribe to our channel, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.